can't believe it's 22 years since I did Aragi. I remember the first time that Thangar Bachan came to me about the film was in 2001, and it was his debut film, so obviously there was no way I could see his previous work. And he and a couple of his assistants came together, and that time he didn't speak much English, and I obviously didn't know, I barely knew a little bit of Tamil. And but he was so passionate in the way he told the story. I remember that I could not understand the full story, but his passion and his deep commitment to this story, and the fact that he so wanted to tell this story was so evident that on an instinct I just said yes. And obviously there's no question of regretting. In fact, I'm so happy that I was part of that journey. Thangar is truly a very, very passionate filmmaker. He's also a very proud Tamilian and a deeply emotional person, and that's why obviously this film had to be something that is deeply rooted in the Tamil ethos, in the villages. It's also deeply emotional and rooted in human emotions. So I'm really happy that I did the film, and really excited that the film is going to be sort of re-released after all these years. And I mean, that generation would have seen it, but the younger people may not have seen it, so it will be quite a treat, I think, for them. There are many memories from that film, but obviously it's 22 years, so they've all become a little foggy. But I remember that I was struggling with my dialogues, and Parthiban had to hold a paper, literally hiding his face, because there was a long paragraph that Dhanalakshmi says with all emotions, and he was holding the paper, and your eyeline has to be maintained, so he would keep sort of pulling the paper up so that I could keep reading, and so that it doesn't look like I'm reading, and still being very emotional with tears in my eyes and all of that. So yeah, there were many memories, but it was also, we mostly shot in Chennai, and the whole team was very, very supportive and very passionate, and they didn't make me feel like I was an outsider, that somebody who didn't know Tamil and who was struggling or anything like that. So Aragi was definitely a very memorable experience, and sometimes you just have to trust your instinct. I've in fact worked with lots of debut filmmakers, and the kind of passion that people have when they make their first film, I think, is unmatched. There are many beautiful songs in the film. Ilayaraja ji has done the composition, and he's such a master, and I have so many lovely memories of also meeting him. I went to his house. I remember he fed me some really delicious food. I met his family. So very grateful that he composed the films for this film, because especially that Patacholi, I think, yeah, that was the film, that was a song that was very, very sort of hummable. In fact, wherever I go in the world, if I meet a Tamilian, the first thing they will say, Aragi, I've seen Aragi, and they keep calling me Dhanalakshmi, so Dhanam. So that's something, there's a direct connection that I feel with the Tamilians anywhere in the world that I go. I also wanted to talk about Bhavatarini ji, who had rendered some of the songs in the film, and it's really, really very sad to know that she passed away recently due to this horrible disease of cancer. And her song Visoliyali Teruvadu, which was such a big hit, it's such an ode to all that she's done, and may her soul rest in peace. I have unfortunately not been able to watch the film for the last 20 years, but I remember, very seldom do I watch my work, especially when it's dubbed by somebody else, and you don't really get to see the film as such. If it's in another language, maybe sometimes at a premiere, but otherwise you don't really get to see. But I remember I took a cinematographer friend of mine, and who was supposed to explain to me the whole film, because we were going to see it with the audience, and he was going to explain even the portions that I was not in, because that's, you never otherwise get to see the whole film in its entirety. And unfortunately for me, and fortunately for him and the audience, that they were all loving it so much that he was crying and he was so engrossed in the film that he forgot to explain to me anything. But that memory of watching the film with an audience was very, very precious. Thangar has been telling me for a long time that he's going to make an Azhagi too. In fact, Parthiban has also been telling me that. They've been threatening me for long, and I'm waiting for that call when they will call me and say, yes, let's do Azhagi too. And I wonder what's going to happen. You know, this unrequited love, this childhood lovely love story, and how they meet again. I don't want to be a spoiler and don't want to tell you everything, but I'd be very curious to do an Azhagi too. Is it still relevant? You know, human emotions are universal. So from what I remember of the film, I think it'll always be relevant, because love, losing love, finding love again, these are real emotions. These are real human experiences. So I'm really excited that the film is going to be, in fact, it's been remastered to a 4K digital and Dolby 5.1 sound. So I think it's going to look better than the original. So do watch it, and I'm delighted that Thangar Bachan and the producer Uday Kumar have together decided to re-release it. I also want to thank the rest of the team, Mikashi Sundaram, KM Sundaram Pictures, that they all have together re-released the film. So thank you everyone, and I'm there with you in spirit.